Okay. So now one of the things that we really wanted to talk about during this meeting was to just brainstorm some fundraising ideas or some budgeting ideas to get people to conference, whether that's your leaders or just other designated people who you want to go benefit from the training. And for anyone who wasn't here last week, we ran into some technical issues, as in someone hacked our session and made it really, really hard for us to meet. So we're doing that tonight. Linda Mask from Mountain Metro, you were so rudely interrupted because you were going to share a great fundraiser that your chapter does to send people to conference. And so I hate to ask you to repeat yourself, but do you mind going into that?
I don't mind a bit. So the one thing that I did not say was our incoming president and our outgoing president are the ones that they do not come out of this fundraiser. That is paid out of our general fund and always has been. And so we knew our presidents were taken care of, but a lot of people were not able to come just because of the cost. And now the costs have gotten even worse. So our original fundraiser, and it still is specifically just to help subsidize our members to go to national convention, is a garage sale. And it started on the back porch of one of our tax offices. And that first year we made $700. And at that time, we had 3 people going to nationals. And that was on a regular. Occasionally, we'd have 5 if it was a good year. But once we started having the garage sale, and our money increased each year, and now we make anywhere from 3,000 to 6,000. And we did a little over $6,000 this year. And we, you got to have a place to have it. And we gather stuff all year long. And Dr. Rose so graciously allows us to use her basement. So it's a great storage place. But you got to have some place to store all the things you collect. People are glad for you to come and get it out of their garage, and they clean out their closets, and they're just glad to give you these items. And so we'll go and pick them up. And our sales have gone from 1-day sale to a 2-day sale. They're very intense and they're a lot of fun. It's a good bonding session. We do have rules about going to national. We have a form that we give to everyone, and a lot of our club members that aren't going to nationals generously give their time and effort to come and to help us set up, to set it up, to work it, and then to tear it back down. And then we, at the end of our sale, we donate a lot of things to people who have had a fire. We donate to the Lions Club. We have a church that has a lot of needs for folks. Anybody who has a need, before we give it to Goodwill, they will come to our basement, and then they're welcome to whatever their needs are. And so that's part of our community service, that we give back to town, as well as we have funds for our people. So the rules that we have are, first of all, you have to work 4 hours of setting up. You have to work 4 hours of the actual garage sale, and you have to work 4 hours of cleaning up. And we've had so many people in our club that help. I don't know how it would work if it was just people going to nationals, but it's always worked out really well. We keep track. Everybody checks in, everybody checks out, writes their time down. There were folks, we started doing the rules because some people would come and sign up and they would leave after a few minutes. And they figured that was their donation to the cause, but it doesn't work that way. You got to really put some blood, sweat, and tears into it. And it works really well. We have a great system going. And then you also, the rules once you get to nationals, you are required to go to all the general sessions, and you're required to do living endowment and one or two of the training sessions, because we always like to talk about what we've learned at nationals when we get back. So that's part of the requirements of going. Almost always our registration is paid in full. And then depending on how many are going, if we have $500, we'll split it up between them. And usually we have more than that. So then sometimes you'll have money to put towards your room. It just depends on how many are going and how much money we've made. So everybody gets a nice check to help them go to nationals. So pretty much that's the gist of it. We stayed at it. I mean, it's something that you have to grow, whatever the fundraiser it is. It doesn't happen all at once. And you do have to have rules and regulations for those people who are going. And some of the people in the beginning thought just because they worked, they were going to get a check. But we make sure everybody in the club understands this is to help offset the cost of those who want to go. And anybody who wants to help is very welcome. But unfortunately, they don't get to have a check. Any questions?
Do you make them, I mean, because I know you guys room up a lot. Is that part of the requirement too, that if I'm going to go, I need to have a roommate if I could?
We haven't ever run into that problem, but you only get so much money. So however you do the room is how you do the room. And then, you know, whatever's left over, you can use that money for room, or you can use it for transportation. But we never have made enough to pay for room and transportation. So, and the registration, always registration, and then a little bit to put wherever you want to put it.
Linda?
Yes.
Linda, to make that much money, how many items do you have to have in your garage sale?
How many items do they have to bring?
No. How many items do you have to collect all year long in order to generate $6,000?
Oh, mercy. So,
or how many loads do you have to pick up?
We got fortunate this year. My daughter closed down her auction house, and so we had 3 U-Hauls full of items. And we just know a lot of people here in town, and that's the key to it, is that you let people know we're having this garage sale. It's to help our members, and then they call you up and say, "Can you come and get this crap?" You know, they're glad to get rid of it. They don't want to have a garage sale. You know, people are eager to get rid of that stuff. And a lot of times they want it to go to a better cause than just Goodwill. Not that Goodwill's not a good cause, but Jack, to answer your question, you got to have a lot of stuff. We have a lot of furniture. We have a lot of jewelry. We have some really nice clothes. And so I'll tell you too that we also have an Ambuck layaway, which is hilarious. And you can come down there, and if you're an Ambuck, and you can shop and work. And if you find something you're interested in, we got all these boxes with everybody's name on it. So I think the Ambucks pay a lot for all that stuff too, but it does take a lot.
Jack, they have a miniature department store.
So Linda, do you price everything, or do you just have people pay what they think it's worth?
So we do price a lot because we get a lot of collectibles, and because we've worked a lot, we kind of have an idea. We're not crazy. We don't put high prices on stuff, but if it's a collectible or a really nice piece of furniture, we're going to put a good price on there. We had some really nice sewing machines come in last year. One was the lady paid $1,000 for it, and she only had it a year, and it ended up going for $100. And it was not anybody sews anymore, hardly. And this year we did put it on Facebook. We had lots of postings on our local marketplace of things that we had. And so we got a lot of sales off of that. We're going to better that. That was the best thing we did this year. And we're going to make that a better deal next year.
You did an excellent job of posting on Facebook, because you would see it all the time, and like you said, different things, and it did entice you to, I think, to come and look at this stuff.
Yeah, it was very helpful. And one of our newest members, Annette Wiseman, she just got her big head too. She's so excited, but she is very good at social media and marketing. So she does a lot of that. And the stuff you see on there from our club, she does all of that after each Tuesday meeting. And so it's just a really successful thing. Whatever you decide to do, you just have to, you have to be organized about it, and you have to stay focused on it. And it's kind of like a business. So we don't let people take out their stuff until it's over, because we want everybody to know that nobody's running off with stuff. So I have a tablet, and everybody, I'll go through their stuff with them. And then at the end of the day, when this deal's over, or that last day, that's what I'm doing, is checking out the Ambucks. And some of them spend hundreds of dollars just to let you know we have some really good stuff. But that wasn't how it was in the beginning. That's from letting all the people in town know, we love to have your stuff. We'll pick it up, that kind of thing.
So do any of y'all have some other fundraisers that you do as far as your chapter's concerned, as far as that goes to conference?
I don't have any as far as what we've done on fundraiser, but I was gonna mention kind of where Linda was bringing up the garage sale. I did watch my parents do one for Lions, and like she said, it is a lot of work, and just watching how many loads that they picked up. And I think having the basement is critical, especially if you're going to mark everything, because they marked everything, which is even a lot of work. But I was looking on, and I don't remember what group it was on Facebook, about how they did garage sales for fundraisers. And some of them, because they tend to be able to make more money if they sell it on Marketplace than what people expect to pay when they go to garage sale, they would basically post some of their stuff on Marketplace, but then pickup was at the garage sale. And so that was a way that they got a little bit more money that way, and weren't having to run all over town meeting up to deliver them individually. And I thought, well, that's kind of a, cool, concept to try. So
we don't deliver. They do have to pick it up. And that's the reason why we have them pick it up. Plus, we don't want our girls going somewhere that they don't know people. And so we just have people come and get it. And I don't know if I answered that one question about pricing, is we don't price everything. We do these big poster boards, and we list the things that are of importance, and that we have a new price and we have a used price. And then things that are really expensive in the jewelry line, or we had some collectible ornaments. We had those sitting up at the front, so we could kind of keep an eye on them. And we're just really going to try to do a better job online with the Marketplace this year too. So.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, the Marketplace there. That would really be good. Some of you might have, you can, by the way, if you have a regular fundraiser for your chapter, as long as you didn't say it was exclusively going to Amtrak's or Ramp, you can take a percentage of those fundraisers and put towards your conference monies too, if you want to do that too. So keep that in mind, that just because you have a fundraiser doesn't mean it has to be exclusively for the conference, like the garage sale.
Well, in Owasso, we do Gathering on Main, which is where the local businesses all get together on the first Thursday during spring to fall. And they probably have 100 to 120 different booths there. And so if we come and help set up, so they have 3:30 to 5:30 or 7:30 to 9:30 shutting it down, then they actually give us funds for volunteering, just having that taken care of. So if I have basically can fill 8 slots, then by the end of the evening, we've earned $400. And so that was our way of kind of earmarking that for future and conferences, because then we don't have to qualify our other fundraisers. Like, this isn't going to Amtrak's, this is going, because we just know the funds from the gathering. We don't have to answer for those funds anyway, because that's what they're kind of earmarked for. Oh,
Hey, Carmela, you're muted.
We have a 50-50 drawing at our meeting every week, and no, it's not a lot, but that little, the other 50% always goes to conference too. So what are some other things that some of you guys do? Gordon, what do you guys do in your chapter?
In Great Plains chapter, we budget for the incoming and outgoing president. What we pay the registration, and then if we have enough, we'll also pay for 2 or 3 days of the rooms. One of the things that occurred this year, though, is the incoming and outgoing president both said that they did not want it. They were going to go to conference anyway, so we're going to use the money that was earmarked for conference for a sponsorship. Just like Linda, we do have some requirements. They must attend general session. They must attend education sessions. And then I don't think Lawton chapter's in here, but one of the things that Lawton chapter has is when they divvy out the money for their chapter, they actually have the incoming or outgoing president commit to go into education general session. And if they don't go, then they got to pay it back once they come back.
That's a
So
good
that
idea.
has happened to us a couple of times. One, somebody didn't go and they did have to pay it back. They decided not to go to nationals. And then they didn't go to the sessions and they did have to pay it back. They're not happy about it, but it's not fair for the others.
So I know we've mostly been talking about national conference, but do any of your chapters do anything to help fund regional conferences? Usually a little more affordable, but they're still just as important, especially when it comes to officer training. No, just national.
well,
No?
the one on the gathering, we kind of use that for either one. So ideally we get all of those 8 spots. But sometimes with our chapter being smaller, we only get a few of them, but that's kind of what we earmark for both. So
Now, one of the things that we did this year, and as it turned out during spring recruiting period, part of our competition was we would pay the registration to national conference, to regional conference, or they could pay their dues, or we'd pay their dues for the winner. And the person that won this year chose the dues instead of national or region conference. So I don't know if that's a positive or a negative.
depends if they can add and how much your dues are.
There you go. So some of you guys, what kind of fundraisers, or do you have a fundraiser for conference?
Not
What-
anymore. Go ahead, whoever was going to speak.
Well, I didn't
This is
wanna-
Donna.
Go ahead, Donna.
Oh, yeah. So in Danville, we also have the 50/50, and half of that 50/50 we use for conference-like expenses. We do pay for our president and incoming president, and then of course the past president, you know, the ones that are going to be the active ones, the ones getting the awards, which would be the president that's outgoing, and then the incoming president. We budget for that, but everyone else, we do a percentage of all the other fundraisers throughout the year, unless they are specifically said, all of this money goes to whatever project it is. That has really helped. And so it's more or less a budgeted item. We kind of budget X amount of dollars, and then how many ever people were like Linda, how many ever people go, you know, we divide the money up evenly. We also have the same regulations, general sessions, living endowment, and then, you know, at least 2 classes. So that's how that works for Danville. And it's been pretty productive. We've, you know, had 6 or 8 people go pretty religiously. I will mute
Turn
again
right on south.
because I'm driving.
Well, be safe. I was also going to mention we've got some national funding that I know Melissa's benefited from, because she has helped spark plug a chapter or charter a brand new chapter outside of the one that she's in. So for that, our spark plugs get free conference registration and a room night stay reimbursed to them. Edwin has tried to do that, but we had to cancel the conference. And so he didn't spark plug a chapter, but he was a chartering chapter president. And Edwin, that's still available to you. So it doesn't cover the total cost of the conference expense, but it used to cover about a third of it. Which is just another way that we're able to get some people to conference, especially some of our new people. We really like to do that. And with our spark plugs, we like to do it so that they can be there to help support those new people. It can be a little scary to come to conference and you don't know anybody else.
Does that come out of Cornerstone, Jessica?
It does.
Good evening,
have a-
everyone. How y'all doing?
Good. How are
hear
you,
me?
Edwin? Yep, sure can.
I'm doing great. First of all, I'll say it's a pleasure to be on the call. Been a minute. Like you said, we came in the midst of the pandemic, so everything has been to a slow and halt. Just trying to gear things back up. But just to piggyback off the fundraisers, I'm also I do American Legion here as well. I chartered a post here. But what we do for fundraiser and gonna be piggyback as well as for Ambucks is that we at the New Orleans at the Dome. Well, I'm in New Orleans, so anything that happens in the Superdome, we do fundraisers there. We have a booth for every event that comes to the Superdome and the arena where basketball and concerts are held. We have a booth there, and we get a certain amount of percentage off every event that we participate in. So if you're in a region, a city or state that has a professional team, preferably, they're always there. I know it just about everywhere a nonprofit can go in and raise funds through that way if you connect with them over there. So we do that year round. It's been working great for us with the American Legion. I actually been 4 years straight now with it. So it's no overhead, no nothing, no anything, just labor work, and you get your percentage. So that's been our main focus right now. And I'm just going to try to start this coming season with what we're doing with the Veterans on Wheels. That's the name of our organization. And so we're going to try to incorporate them as well. So maybe we're running 2 different organizations within that program. So
What are some of the things that you actually do as far as that help you earn the percent?
You have a concession
professional
stand, don't you,
teams,
Edwin?
football, basketball, baseball,
Yeah.
soccer, any event. They're looking for nonprofit organizations to come in and to offset, first of all, paying other people to come in. And so we come in and do it for them and just give our percentages.
But
I
it's
mean,
a
off of like the
concession stand,
sales
right?
of, okay, that's,
Say again?
It's a concession stand, correct?
Yeah, it's a concession stand.
Okay,
Concession
but-
stand. Say again?
So
oh,
when you-
that's what I was curious, what you were doing, whether you're doing like, helping them pick up stuff, or you're doing the concession stand. When you're saying percent, I didn't know what a percent of what activity you
Oh.
were doing.
Yes, it's a concession stand. It depends on what size stands you have. It ranges from like 7 to 15% of the sales. So it depends on how many people you bring in, bigger stand you get, you know. So it's a win-win for everybody that's involved. And yeah, we have no complaint. Like I said, we've been doing it for 4 years straight now. So it's a great plus.
I really like the ideas of these fundraisers where you're selling something because it kind of removes that tax deductible thing from the equation. Like it's not really tax deductible because they're getting something in exchange for their money. They're buying something at a garage sale, they're buying something at a concession stand that might feel good while they're purchasing it. But when you need to use it for things like overhead or things like going to conference, as long as you're not saying that it's directly for mission, then you're free and in the clear.
Yes, with this program, it's automatic. They automatic design for nonprofits. What it do is that it comes in, and like you said, it's not earmarked like you're saying to anything. It's like a fundraiser where you go, people donating or whatever. And actually, if you look at it, it'd be more of just donating a percentage of what you earn for the organization that you're with. So those funds could be used the structure however you choose to, because it have to be a 501c3 nonprofit organization. So it's earmarked just for that purpose. No, not anybody off the street, no any organization off the street, not even a for-profit business could come and do it. It has to be a nonprofit. So I mean, I've been doing this for years, not just here for the past 4 years. I've been doing this type of, and it's 100% legally through a nonprofit status as well. So
Yeah.
it gives you your 1099s at the end of the year. So what you make, and it's your business, take care of your business to come on that side. So yes.
Well, thank you. That's great. I got to look into it.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
we
when the
have not.
Cowboys play New Orleans Saints, can I come down there and work one of your stands?
Oh, most definitely. Just only thing you got to be trained, and sometimes we do it virtual. Now I don't know, but if you want to come in on a training date, matter of fact, we gearing up anyway because the year start July. Matter of fact, so we gearing up now to get ready to start. But you're more than welcome to come and see that. I'm sorry, but get the little beat down at the same time. So you're more than welcome to come to New Orleans, and you may not be too happy after the score, but we'll be all right. We'll still be friends.
You're right. Probably won't be, but okay.
Yeah.
Gordon, you were fixing to say something. I interrupted you. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you didn't interrupt me. I interrupted you. You're the president. I was going to say, and especially for like Melissa, the Oklahoma City Thunder do a similar project like that. I know the University of Oklahoma does. I don't know about Oklahoma State if they do, but obviously especially at OU, people are there to watch a football game, not to watch hamburgers. But at the Thunder.
Okay, I thought you were about to throw an insult in there. So
No,
good job, Gordon.
Yeah, thank you. But a lot of times, if you go to the Thunder games, if a concession stand is closed, it's because they did not have a volunteer organization to operate it.
Exactly. You're right.
Yeah, I was waiting for the dig too, Melissa. I was
Wait,
like
what
the
he said,
finger
someday
pistols.
go watch football, and I'm like, what's coming next?
Uh-huh.
There wasn't one. They're in the Big 12 and we're in the SEC now, so we moved up.
Yeah, well, we'll see how you feel at that move here this season.
But that's good ideas that even again, if you don't have a professional arena type of deal, but you got a college arena, to look into that too, even if it's not super next door to you, it may be close enough that makes it a nice, easy thing because yes, you may have to get trained, you have to show up, but again, you're not out trying to figure out what am I going to do for this fundraiser, how to gather this, take care of all that. So sometimes that can be quite enticing in just that.
And that's what I like about that gathering on Main is like we show up, you know, I don't have to plan. I just show up and they're giving us money at the end of it. So just work.
Okay, so Jack, you have anything that you guys do in particular for conference?
I would be speaking in the past if I did. Back when we were a fairly large, rich club, a lot of the fundraisers went to sending the president incoming and outgoing. And anybody who wanted to go, we would pick up at least a registration. But since we've dwindled down and kind of become an old club, and we lost a lot of our fundraisers because of COVID and like our big golf outing. We haven't done now for 3 years, and that hurt us quite a bit. The one thing we do with the stadium, Western Michigan University, is that we do sell rental chairs to you know, the fans. As they come in, we're there with big stacks of these cushioned back chairs, and we rent them, and we get a percentage of that rental. So
And you don't own those chairs, right? You're just the process of renting them for the stadium.
Right, we're working on that, but they haven't given it up yet. It's a big company. It's a multi-billion-dollar company, and they're in 75 schools or colleges and universities around the country, and we're one of those 75. But like I say, it's we're a small, you know, we're competing against U of M and Michigan State and Virginia Tech, and they'll rent 10,000 chairs on a, you know, home game. We'll rent 200, you know, so it isn't a huge fundraiser. We've gotten to the point to where we can't afford to give anything away for conference. So we're
So is
buying
that
too
something
much.
that other chapters could look at some of the colleges too and just see if that exists and if they need somebody to help do that?
Yeah, I have a whole list. I got all 75 schools in the nation who do this. They get, I think, like Michigan State and University of Michigan, they got every single fraternity and sorority on campus renting those chairs, because like I say, they'll rent 10,000, you know, chairs on a home game. And obviously they make a lot of money. We don't.
Jack, excuse me, is it possible you can share that list?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I don't know how I guess, I don't know how you will share it,
I
but yeah,
will- I'll gather it and send it to Jessica, and she could send it out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'd be happy to take it and we can send it out to people, Jack. And I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind looking at it myself.
Me too. That's a
You-
good idea. I mean, you never know, right?
Yeah,
like
why not?
Right.
Mhm.
Like
Or
when
if we're
Edwin
trying to
was talking about the Superdome, why not, like Gordon said, talk about the colleges too? And like you said, you've gone to events where you've seen a concession stand closed and never did it dawn on me, well, that's because they didn't have a nonprofit there running it. Why not jump in?
Right.
All right. Yeah, and he's exactly right too. I say professionals, but you're exactly right. The colleges also do the same thing
Mhm.
with the concession stands.
Yeah, that reminded me, we used to sell parking places. We would get a couple downtown businesses that were near the minor league baseball team, and parking just downtown is awful. So we would stand out there and take money to sell parking places for the game, and we got to keep it. So that was pretty easy, low overhead fundraiser too for us.
Wow, that's an interesting concept, even if you didn't get to keep the full amount. Because I'm just thinking of the parking places near the Cowboy Stadium and all. They go, if you're closest, it goes $100 an event. But even if they didn't give us the whole thing, but they gave us partial of that, that could add up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, especially if they could make money off of it and not have to put anybody out there.
Right.
Right. Right. Well, it's just like like you said, perfect idea because I'm working on hopefully I can have it something because when Mardi Gras comes, you know, it's a lot of empty buildings, a lot of companies, just be not operating and their lots and stuff be open. So that's one of the new things that we're looking for as we get ready to gear up for this fall is to address those individuals' business who's not operating, but they got the empty lot sitting there around, discussion during Mardi Gras season. And for parking purpose.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Maybe you'll have to invite all us to come down and help you during Mardi Gras.
Oh, y'all
I'll
more
go.
than welcome. Yes. If I land something, if you guys want to come on down, well, you don't have to come down just for that. Just come on down anyway. How about that?
Sounds
My
great.
husband is never going to drive the motorhome through the French Quarters ever again.
Oh, wait, I didn't know what you was driving, so I'm sorry.
It was my fault too. Hey, does anybody else have some great ideas y'all want to share or any questions for anybody that's already talked about some of their ideas? Just some of you that know some of our AMBUCs. My husband is in the meeting with the Irving chapter, and it's like I said, their 55th anniversary. Well, he just sent me a picture, and guess who's in there? Cynthia and Charlie Young.
Oh,
Yeah.
say
So
hi.
I'm pretty excited in a second to go see him because we haven't seen him since conference, and so that's pretty neat.
I don't remember seeing them register for this year's conference, so maybe get a little intel.
I think they were kind of waiting to see how Charlie did, but yeah, I will. I'll definitely twist them.
Well, that sounds like a good time. It really does.
The main thing we wanted everybody to know and pass this on to other chapters in your region and other chapters that how important conference is, because we do get the education in it, but we also get the just sharing ideas with each other there. And then we get excited and then we're ready to come back and go get new members and start another chapter. So we want to keep the conferences going and be exciting in that. And if it helps to pay the registration and if they can get any extra on the rooms and all, that just helps that burden of being so expensive. Hey, anybody have anything they want to add?
Yes, and I just want to about the conference. I guess I've changed into a new one, correct? I guess I'm just trying to get an idea of who and where I'm at, to be honest. So if that could be cleared up a little more for me today, that'd be great.
So you want to know, I'm sorry, Edwin, where
Yes,
it's going to be?
Well, I know I guess at one point it was like I was in between two different conferences. uh, regions. I mean, not regions. So I'm sorry. Yeah, regions. And so I was trying to get I guess, clear indication where I'm at right now, and you know,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
home.
So Louisiana was always one of those kind of unusual states because at one time you belonged to Southwest, but there was relationships that started with the southern region. So we kind of let the NOLA chapter say, hey, we want to belong to Southern. Right now, you are back with Southwest. So we recently did a region realignment, and the board really looked at getting everyone, every part of the country, some form of representation on the board, and also just trying to make sure that they could serve as chapters the best. And it was determined that because the southern region is so big, you are going to be better serviced by the southwest region. So I will get Jean Sargent to reach out to you. She will be your new region director, and we'll
Okay.
get you some support from them.
Okay. So Southwest. Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Sounds great. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
We're excited to have you in the Southwest, so I think it'll be great. Now we just have to have some chapters, new chapters between you and even East Texas and that line up even to see if we can't get some chapters going, or even between you and hopefully Spring outside Houston, Texas is going to finalize their chapter. So we can get some more in between. Will make it easier for you guys too.
Okay. All right.
And
Sounds
Edwin,
good.
this is Donna. And even though I'm no longer Southern Region Director, because my term was up, I'm still gonna come visit you sometime because we've tried several times and it just didn't work out, did it? But, you know, I always appreciated you, coming in on our calls and participating. I just wanted you to know that.
Okay. Well, great. Well, I'll be looking forward to the visit. You know, I'll be here, and I just make sure I don't drive you through the French Quarter.
I don't drive that big a vehicle. I'll do something smaller.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, anybody else have any more comments for this evening?
Happy birthday.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. So we appreciate all y'all being on here, and I apologize again for last week. Definitely, if you have any questions on conferences and or fundraisers, just reach out to myself or Jessica, and we'll sure get you guys going.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all.
Appreciate you all.
Thank
See
you, Miss
soon.
Linda, for all your information.
You
Yeah,
bet.
See
thanks
you.
so much.
All right.
All right.
Alrighty.
See you later this
See-
week, Gordon.
Bye.
Yeah, see you Thursday night in Colorado.